Ever wish you could like absorb all this fascinating knowledge about all kinds of things, but, without having to wade through tons of research papers?
Yeah.
Well, we should talk about SciSphere
Okay.
because this brand new podcast might just be the answer.
Interesting. So what's the sort of the idea behind SciSphere?
Well, SciSphere, it's all about delivering these really potent, like bursts of knowledge
Mm.
about society and innovation,
Uh-huh.
all packed in these really short, easy to digest episodes. It's like getting a quick download
Right.
of insightful information
I like that.
without having to spend hours and hours.
Yeah, sifting through the weeds.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
tell me about who's behind this whole SciSphere project.
So SciSphere is actually the brainchild of an infectious disease physician
Oh, wow.
who also works in international public health.
Okay.
And he has this incredible knack for spotting connections between these seemingly totally different fields,
Yeah.
And that's really reflected in the podcast's themes.
That makes a lot of sense. With a background like that, he must have some pretty unique insights into how science, society, and innovation all kind of interact.
Absolutely. And that's exactly what SciSphere is all about exploring. It's just launched.
Okay.
And each episode delves into a very carefully chosen topic,
Okay.
all handpicked to make sure it's timely and relevant to what's happening in the world right now.
So walk me through how they create these episodes.
Okay.
Because I'm really intrigued by this idea of getting, a quick but insightful understanding of these sometimes complex topics.
Right.
How do they pull that off?
This is where it gets really cool. They're actually using AI as part of their process.
Oh, wow.
There's a tool called Notebook LM, and it basically acts like a supercharged research assistant.
Okay.
And it takes all the source material that the expert curates, so things like research papers, articles, even book excerpts,
Wow.
and it creates a first draft of the episode.
So the AI is doing like a lot of the heavy lifting in terms of synthesizing information and pulling out those key insights.
Yeah, you can think of it as like the AI gathering all the ingredients.
Okay.
But then the expert is the chef who steps in to refine the recipe and add their own expertise,
I see.
make sure that everything is accurate and presented in a clear, engaging way.
So it's a blend of cutting edge technology and human insight.
Yeah,
I'm guessing that's where their content over polish philosophy comes in.
exactly. They're all about the substance, not the style.
Yeah.
Their focus is on delivering those insightful nuggets of knowledge,
Right.
not on, super fancy production or flashy editing.
Yeah.
They want listeners to walk away feeling like they've learned something truly valuable, even if it's a bit, rough around the edges.
That definitely resonates with what we try to do here on the Deep Dive.
Yeah.
We're all about getting to the heart of the matter and giving you those aha moments, even if it means, skipping the bells and whistles.
I like it.
So speaking of getting to the heart of the matter,
Yeah.
what kind of topics have they covered on SciSphere so far?
They've already touched on some really fascinating areas. One episode that I found really interesting explored the complex power dynamics at play within global health initiatives.
Oh, that sounds intriguing.
Yeah.
What were some of the key takeaways from that episode?
One thing that stood out was how they highlighted this diverse range of actors involved in these initiatives, from philanthropists and governments all the way to local communities.
Okay.
And it emphasized how the flow of financial resources can often translate into power,
Right.
influencing priorities and shaping the overall direction of these initiatives.
Yeah. You often hear about these, big global health projects,
Right.
but it's easy to kind of overlook that, the intricate web of relationships and power structures that underpin them.
Yeah, and SciSphere doesn't shy away from these complexities. In
Yeah.
fact, they dove even deeper, advocating for a shift away from this top-down surgical approach to global health interventions.
Okay.
And they argued that this approach often fails to really consider the nuances of local contexts.
So they're pushing for more community-driven solutions
Yeah.
that prioritize local knowledge and expertise.
Exactly. They really emphasize the importance of empowering communities to take ownership of their own health outcomes,
Yeah.
rather than relying solely on external actors to come in and dictate solutions.
I love that. It really aligns with this growing movement towards decolonizing global health
Yeah.
and fostering more equitable partnerships
Probably.
between different stakeholders.
Absolutely. And that's just one example
Wow.
of the kind of insightful analysis that SciSphere brings to the table. They also have an episode that dives into the world of complexity theory
Oh, okay.
and how it applies to public health.
Complexity theory can be a bit of a head scratcher.
Yeah.
Were they able to break it down in a way that was easy to grasp?
They did a fantastic job. They used really clear explanations
Okay.
and relatable examples to illustrate key concepts like emergence and feedback loops.
Okay.
And these are often seen as kind of abstract ideas,
Right.
but they actually have very real implications for how we approach public health challenges.
It's all too easy to get lost in those theoretical weeds sometimes.
It is.
But SciSphere seems to be good at connecting those theoretical concepts to real-world applications.
Yeah, they are. And for example, they explain how understanding feedback loops can help us design more effective public health interventions.
Okay.
Because we can anticipate how different actions might ripple through a system
Right.
and lead to unintended consequences.
That's a really powerful insight. It makes you realize that even, seemingly small actions
Yeah.
can have a huge impact,
That's
especially when you're dealing with complex systems like public health.
exactly. And that's one of the things I appreciate about SciSphere. They help you connect the dots and see the bigger picture,
Yeah.
even when you're dealing with really complicated topics.
So it sounds like they cover a pretty diverse range of subjects.
They do.
Is there a common thread that runs through all the episodes?
Yeah, definitely. They all center around this idea that science and society are inextricably intertwined.
And so SciSphere explores how scientific advancements impact our lives.
Yeah.
And conversely, how societal trends influence the direction of scientific progress.
That makes perfect sense. It's a very holistic way of looking at the forces that are shaping our world.
Totally.
Yeah.
And SciSphere goes beyond just describing these forces.
Right.
It actually encourages listeners to think critically about how we can use this knowledge to create a better future.
So it's not just about passive learning.
Right.
It's about empowering listeners to become active participants in shaping the world around them.
Yeah, you got it.
I like that.
SciSphere wants to spark your curiosity and encourage you to engage with these ideas on a deeper level. And they want you to walk away not just with new information, but with new questions
Yeah.
and a desire to explore further.
That's a really powerful goal. And it sounds like they're achieving it in a really unique and engaging way.
I think so.
Now, we've talked a bit about how SciSphere uses AI in this process. Can you tell us a little more about the specifics of how that works? Sure. As I mentioned, they use this platform called Notebook LM.
Right.
And this AI tool basically takes in a bunch of source material articles, research papers, even book excerpts,
Okay.
and synthesizes it into a first draft for an episode.
Wow. So the AI is essentially doing a lot of the initial research and writing?
That's right. But it's not as simple as just plugging in some keywords and letting the AI run wild.
Okay.
The process begins with that infectious disease physician we talked about.
Right.
He carefully selects the topic and then curates the source material, choosing specific pieces that he believes are the most relevant and insightful.
So the AI is more like a powerful tool
Yeah,
that's guided by human expertise.
exactly. And
Yeah.
even after the AI generates that draft, the expert goes back in to validate and refine the content, making sure everything is accurate,
Okay.
presented in a clear and engaging way,
Right.
and aligned with the overall mission of SciSphere.
So it's really about combining the efficiency of AI with that, critical thinking and the ethical considerations that only a human expert can provide.
Precisely. And that approach really speaks to their content over polish philosophy.
Right.
They're more concerned with the substance and accuracy of the information
Yeah.
than with, creating a super slick, highly produced podcast.
It's refreshing to see a podcast that prioritizes the message over the medium.
Yeah.
It's a good reminder that substance and accuracy should always come first,
Right.
especially when we're talking about issues that have real-world consequences.
I agree.
So for someone looking for a podcast that offers that quick but insightful dive into the intersection of science, society, and innovation, it sounds like SciSphere would be a great choice.
Absolutely. It's perfect for anyone who wants to stay informed about the forces shaping our world without having to dedicate hours to reading research papers and articles.
And with its unique blend of AI-powered content generation and human expertise,
Yeah.
it seems like SciSphere is truly pushing the boundaries of what a podcast can be.
I completely agree. It's a fantastic example of how technology can be used to make complex ideas more accessible and engaging while still maintaining a commitment to quality and ethical considerations.
Yeah, this has been a fascinating deep dive into SciSphere.
It has.
It sounds like a truly innovative podcast that's definitely worth checking out.
I couldn't agree more. And I'm really excited to see what topics they explore in future episodes. And what's impressive is they managed to do all this and still be clear and concise. They don't get bogged down with the jargon or overly complex explanations.
That could be a real challenge, I think.
It is.
To take these complex scientific concepts
Yeah.
and make them accurate but accessible
Absolutely.
to a broader audience.
That's where SciSphere shines. They have this knack for like distilling it down to the essence, but not losing the nuance or the important details.
It's like getting the key takeaways without being overwhelmed with information.
Exactly.
So do they ever dive into the potential drawbacks or the challenges associated with these topics, or do they just focus on the positive aspects?
They don't shy away from the complexities and potential downsides.
Okay.
For example, in that episode about global health initiatives,
Right.
they acknowledge the challenges of balancing efficiency with community ownership.
Okay.
And they brought up the fact that while community-driven approaches are often more effective in the long run,
right,
they can take longer to implement.
That's an important point to consider.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to get kind of caught up in the enthusiasm for a new approach.
Yeah.
But you have to acknowledge that there's always trade-offs and challenges.
Yeah. And SciSphere does a great job of presenting a balanced perspective.
Okay.
They highlight both the potential benefits and the potential pitfalls of different approaches.
Now, you mentioned earlier that they use AI to create these episodes.
Ooh.
Do they ever address the potential challenges that come with using AI for content creation?
Okay.
Like the risk of bias or inaccuracies?
They do. They're very transparent about the fact that AI is just one tool in their toolbox. And they emphasize the importance of human oversight to make sure everything is accurate and ethical.
Okay.
They've even talked about how they actively work to mitigate bias in the AI output.
Oh, wow.
By carefully selecting the source material and giving the AI really clear guidelines.
That level of transparency is really important, I think.
Yeah.
Especially when we're talking about something as powerful as AI.
For sure.
It helps build trust with the audience and, allows them to engage with the content more critically.
I agree.
Yeah.
And it speaks to their overall commitment to responsible and ethical content creation.
Yeah.
They want to use AI to enhance their storytelling and make knowledge more accessible.
Right.
But they also recognize the importance of human judgment and critical thinking in the process.
It sounds like SciSphere is really pushing the boundaries of science communication and education.
It is.
They're leveraging technology in this really innovative way to address this growing need for accessible, high-quality information about science and its impact on society.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
They're a fantastic example of how we can use AI to make complex ideas more engaging and digestible, but without sacrificing accuracy or depth.
And their content over polish philosophy is a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
It reminds us that the substance of the message is what matters most.
Totally.
Not, the fancy production or the flashy editing.
I agree.
So for our listeners who are intrigued
and
want to check out SciSphere for themselves, where can they find it?
You can find SciSphere on Spotify.
Right.
They're releasing new episodes regularly covering all sorts of fascinating topics.
Perfect. We'll include a link in our show notes so everyone can easily find it. And if you're already a SciSphere listener, we'd love to hear your thoughts. What's been your favorite episode?
Yeah.
What topics would you like to see them cover in the future?
Right.
Sharing your insights and perspectives not only enriches our own understanding,
Yeah.
but it also contributes to this broader conversation about the role of science in shaping our world.
Exactly. It's all about creating a community of engaged, informed citizens who are empowered to ask those critical questions and contribute to meaningful change.
Well said. And on that note, let's move on to our final thoughts on SciSphere.
Okay.
And what makes this podcast so unique. As we wrap up our deep dive into SciSphere, it really feels like they've got this fresh perspective on how we learn about and engage with all these complex scientific topics.
I think so. It's like they found this formula for taking knowledge and just really delivering it in a way that makes you want to learn more.
And what I find really exciting is that commitment to accessibility, making sure that this knowledge is available to everybody.
Yeah.
No matter what their background is, no matter their expertise.
Yeah.
They're not talking down to anybody. They're inviting them in
Right.
to join this really fascinating conversation.
Yeah. By breaking down these complex ideas into these bite-sized lessons and using AI for content creation, it really makes it so much easier for people to get into these topics.
It's like they're saying you don't need a PhD
Right.
to understand the forces that are shaping our world.
Yeah.
Come on in. Let's explore these ideas together.
I love that. And that conversational approach is so key. It creates that feeling of intimacy, encourages you to listen, makes you feel like you're part of the discussion, not just sitting there taking in information.
And I think that's what sets SciSphere apart. It's that active engagement. They're not just trying to fill your head with facts.
Right.
You know? It's about getting you to think critically, encouraging you to connect the dots between different fields and different ideas.
It's about building this community of curious minds who want to learn and explore the world around them.
And I think that's what makes SciSphere so compelling. They're not just sharing information.
Right.
They're inspiring a sense of wonder.
Yes.
And a desire to make a difference.
Well said.
So to our listeners who are ready to go on their own journey of discovery with SciSphere, you can find them over on Spotify.
Great.
Make sure to check out their latest episodes. See what sparks your curiosity.
As you're listening, think about what you're curious about. What questions do you have about how science and society intersect?
Right.
Maybe your curiosity will lead to the next big discovery. Or even inspire a future episode of SciSphere.
That's a great point. Always remember, knowledge is best when shared.
Yes.
So talk about what you learn with your friends, your family, your colleagues. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning,
keep diving deep,
and keep diving deep.